Treasure Coast Connector, connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Well, welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras of the Ferris Group, one of our sponsors. They're a business advisory and management company providing outsourced services for all kinds of businesses. To learn about it, check out the website at www.ferrisgroup.com. That's PHARUS group.com, or call them directly at 772-223-3344. Treasure Coast Connector is a show that puts a spotlight on local business owners so we can learn why they started their business and what makes their products and services so unique and special. And today we're going to be talking about computers, keeping them running smoothly and healthily. And so to join me in this conversation is Richard Maples of River IT Consulting, and he provides all sorts of services for computers, networking, security, virus and malware removal, training, and all sorts of things. So thank you, Richard, for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
No, it's great. Thanks you so much for having me, Ellen.
Yep, absolutely. So the first question I love to ask everyone is why they got started in their business. And you've been an IT professional for a while, and you've worked for other people, but now you have ventured out on your own. You have a really good story. Tell everybody why you wanted to do this.
Certainly. I started last year, fall of last year, as officially, although I've always seemed like done contract work at different times for different people, but started my own business out of really a necessity, and for other people encouraging me as well, and out of a prayer as well. As prayed and felt like this was the timing to step out in faith, start my business. And I had been encouraged from actually the guys over at Christian FM, a radio station here, and they had told me, you should really think about stepping out. I was doing some contract work for them. You should really think about stepping out and starting your own business. I said, I've heard this so many times, and I just said, this is probably the time to step out and do that. So I felt at peace about doing that, and stepped out, and River IT Consulting was born. Very
good. So when more than one person at different times tells somebody to do something, it's usually a pretty good sign.
It's usually a pretty good sign, absolutely.
And then you have a one-year birthday party that you can throw for your business.
Yeah, exactly.
So my husband and I will be happy to be there.
That'll be great.
We'll share in the cake.
Yeah,
so
that'll be good. That'll be good.
Very nice. So I wanted to just jump right in before we talk about the different services that you offer. Business connectivity is so important. Computer connectivity is so important.
Absolutely.
So much so that I wanted to share a statistic that blew my mind from Gartner. And it says here, I have to read these things. The average cost of network downtime is approximately $5,600 per minute. Totally blew my mind. And I think a lot of people might think, why would it be that much money? But it's because you could be losing revenue. You have to pay to get your computer back up and running, or your network rather, back up and running again. And think about all the employees that are sitting around not being productive. So that's where that amount of money, that average, comes in, with small and larger businesses. This is something that you are very good at. You are very good at helping business owners be proactive so that they hopefully can thwart any downtime. But if, God forbid, something happens, you are also very good at being reactive. So let's talk about keeping computers talking to each other and connected to the outside world.
Oh, certainly, Ellen. One of the things that you just touched on is another point to bring up is the customers might not be able to contact you either. So depending on what type of outage they have, could be an internet outage, it could be a number of different things, VoIP phones or a phone outage, then customers can't contact you either. So a lot of businesses can come to a total halt in a situation like that. So it's important to do the break fix, and that's how I get some of my clients is by that. Hey, we have a 5-alarm fire going on at our business. We need you to come out and let's see what can be done. But really the best thing is the prevention. It's like what you were talking about, because when people, when they plan ahead of time, and they take a look, and that's the consulting part of coming in to meet with people. I tell people I love the geek side of IT and the fixing issues and being tenacious to see it through to the end. But I also really like people, and so and meeting with them and showing them, okay, this is what you've got, because usually they're calling for a couple different issues that they know that they have, but then once I get in there, can take a look at things, find out there's other issues that they might not have known about, and it's good to bring those up. So clarity and conversation and communication with them is just such a key, and talking about what options they have to be able to prepare so they don't get into a break-fix type of situation.
Yeah, that is a nightmare for any business owner. So anybody that is sitting there thinking about maybe something that happened to them recently, or if you're just really not sure about where you stand with your technology, again, reading off of my notes. So Richard can be reached directly at 772-247-2600. For people that watch this, it's, rolling through our, live feed. But for people that will be listening, you're going to want to write down this number, and we're going to be repeating it again several times throughout. So now what I want to do is talk about the people that are at home. There's a lot of people that, have maybe a small part-time business.
Sure.
They need their computer for that. It's just them and their business. Or it's, grandma and grandpa that, are, using that computer as a lifeline to family that are elsewhere.
Sure.
And, what I like about you here is that you can sit down side by side with someone, or you can remote in and help them when you're not, able to get to them personally. But you also provide training. So there are plenty of people out there that say to themselves, I wish I knew my operating system a little bit better and how to find things. I wish I knew some of these software programs better. I wish I knew how to navigate the internet better. So you're going to keep people's computers happy and healthy, and you're also going to train.
Yes.
So please talk about it.
And I had a client recently that she has her own business, but it's just a one-person business, and so she works out of a home office, and she's right here in Vero. But I was able to remote in, and she needed some training. She had documents in like 7 different places on her computer, and that's understandable. Those things happen unless you know what to do to cause it not to happen. And so besides the tuning up her computer, making sure everything's running correctly the way it should, no viruses, there was a number of viruses on her machine, I was able to walk her through, teach her some things. And it could be anything from basic to things with Excel, things with Word, or things with different types of software that they just might not know how to do. And it's great when you have the technology in front of you, but when you can't do anything with it, that's a real problem.
And it's true, because there are times where I might forget how to do something, but I have the time sometimes to figure it out. But when you're working and you really don't have time and you wish you had that ability to do stuff right away.
Sure.
So that's why training is so important, because then people can actually get more work done in a shorter period of time.
Absolutely.
So when you're helping them amp up their skills. And
it's helping them for later on, because they're not going to be stuck on this next week with the same type of issue, because they've learned something. And so it's important in all aspects of life, but certainly with computers.
Yeah. Now, while I try to be cool, calm, and collected, I am known for throwing hissy fits a couple of times. One of the ways that will put me into an instant hissy fit is if I have a computer issue. And not too long ago, actually, I was at somebody's office and they needed to have some documents printed. And they needed, it wasn't. It was an attachment to an email and to send it out. And they were running late for a meeting and nothing was working.
Certainly.
You know what I mean? So it's that kind of stuff. And she's like, I almost hit my computer. And we've all been there.
Absolutely.
So this is something you can prevent hissy fits.
Yeah, that's it. I should put that on my business card, right? We prevent hissy fits. Get ready, people.
On social media marketing, I'll help you with a post. Yes, I will do. I'll show a picture of me having a hissy fit or something funny. Anyway, so I'm just looking. I'm taking a sneak peek at our time. We're doing pretty good with time. So, so one of the things also that I wanted to talk about, going back to connectivity, and drawing a blank. This is, do you know that I've been doing this radio show for about a month and a half, and I haven't drawn a blank until absolutely at this moment. But this is what I wanted to ask you. So at people's homes, in businesses also, if somebody's having a connectivity issue, you could also remote in and fix some of these problems too, right?
We can see where there's an issue, because it could be on the either business side or the person side, the homeowner side, or it could be on the ISP side, the internet service provider side, or it could be somewhere in between there. And so it's figuring out those things, and also touching base with the vendor. When you can talk with a vendor, and you spend a lot of time in IT, you spend a lot of time sometimes talking with different vendors, but when you're able to talk with them, the language and lingo, sometimes I think people feel like they're totally lost when they have to call into AT&T, or they have to call into Comcast, or any of the companies. It doesn't matter who it is. They feel like they're lost. And so to have somebody there that's on their side trying to move this forward as quickly as possible is helpful for them.
Okay, that's an excellent point. So I just love the ability with technology, how, you can work with people side by side, and you can remote in and things like that. And I think a lot of people forget about that.
They do, because there's some companies that's all they do is remote, and that's an important part, because I could work on a computer halfway around the world, or a network halfway around the world, and I do those type of things. But at the same token, sometimes you need something, especially if it's a training situation. Sometimes sitting there side by side, especially if you're dealing with senior citizens and those type of things, it's helpful to have somebody right there. I love technology, but at the same time, I love face to face. That's so important to me. So.
Is that personal connection?
Absolutely. It's very important.
Okay. Well, now we're going to take a break. We have a lot more to discuss, Richard and I from River IT Solutions, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Treasure Coast Connector.
Riverside Theater presents either Howl at the Moon or Comedy Zone every Friday and Saturday night going through August. Before you take in the show, chill at Live in the Loop, a free concert with bar and grill open for business. Every Friday and Saturday night in July are Vegas nights. No admission fee to the casino. Play authentic casino craps, roulette, blackjack, or poker. Pull the slots. Play with their funny money for a chance to win some great prizes. It's all at Riverside Theater this weekend. Do you know what Sweet Kiss in Vero Beach is? It's a real European gelato shop with great flavors made fresh every day. Gluten-free, vegan, dairy-free options too. The perfect place to share a family dessert, date night, or just for a great cup of coffee with the very best cannoli in the area. A small cup of gelato has about 80 to 150 calories, so you can treat yourself without feeling guilty anytime. Come visit Sweet Kiss soon. Your lips will love you for it. 2101 Indian River Boulevard. Open noon to 9.
Hello, residents of Indian River County. Please help stamp out recycling cart contamination by recycling right. That means no garbage and no plastic bags or plastic wrap in your blue recycling cart. Contamination could cost you money and your blue cart. So let's recycle right and recycle often. For more information, visit ircrecycles.com.
Visit us at ircrecycles.com. Indian River County. Roll with us, recycle.
The Red Onion Eatery has great food, draft and bottled beer, wine, and view. You can enjoy breakfast sandwiches or your plated egg favorites. How about their specialty sandwiches like lobster roll, crunchy Gruber Reuben, their seafood, shrimp, scallop kebabs, ahi tuna on greens, crab poppers, and a variety of soups, salads, and a host of other sandwiches. Burgers, fries, and hot dogs too. From 8 to 8, the Red Onion is great. Full menu at redonioneatery.com. Red Onion Eatery, across the street from Humston Beach.
Well, welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras of the Ferris Group, one of our sponsors, and we've been talking about IT and how to keep your computers at home and at work running as smoothly and efficiently as possible. And joining me in the conversation is Richard Maples of River IT Consulting. So welcome back, Richard.
Thank you.
We're going to just jump right back in.
Sounds good.
And what I wanted to do was read another statistic that I found pretty interesting because we are full of mom and pop businesses here. And according to Deloitte, 53% of companies will outsource some of their IT functions.
Yes.
So we all know that the big companies can afford lots of IT people internally, but there's a lot of small companies here where
Certainly.
it doesn't make sense for them to hire their own IT person.
Sure.
And that's another reason why you said you started your business, is because you have these skills, but businesses can consider you their IT department.
Exactly.
But you're not on the payroll. The other thing is, for some businesses that might have an IT person on staff, if they're doing some sort of major project, they're one person or maybe two people, and they're like, wow, we need another person in on this. So then you come in and you act as their assistant when you were talking about contract work. So
Exactly.
let's talk about that, about what this means for the small businesses here.
Well, small to medium-sized businesses, they're not going to usually have, like you said, an IT department.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem for them with that is there can be a lot of security issues, a lot of different issues going on that they're not even aware of until something major happens, and that's not what you want to have happen with your business, because as we just talked about, it can cause everything to come to a complete halt.
Yeah.
So, and the other aspect is just coming alongside. So, listen, I'm not trying to take your job away if you're an IT manager, but sometimes you have special projects and things going on where you're going to need, or we've got updates and things that need to happen, or whatever it may be, where you need somebody else, in there, and I can come alongside without being such an extra, a large, fee to the company. So, and so it's helpful. And then again, like you were talking about the small businesses or medium-sized businesses that wouldn't have an IT department. Again, we can consult with them, see what their needs are, see where they're kind of like a doctor. We're seeing where their computers are saying ouch and working on it, and then looking at other issues they may have. Yeah. And then you're planning something out, a schedule of services for them to keep them up and running and with no problems.
So that's wonderful. So now this is incredibly cost effective, because with business owners, a big chunk of their cost is payroll.
Absolutely.
And if they're a small business and they don't need an IT person on payroll, but they need healthy computers, right? So then it's better to outsource when you need it. And if memory serves me correct, you help people, businesses, in a variety of ways. So they call you in for a specific thing, and you go in and you do it, and you get paid for that project. Or you can be on a monthly retainer, so to speak, if they do have some ongoing needs, and then for big projects as well. So it's your service is actually very scalable.
It certainly is, depending on what their needs are, and then whether it be short-term or long-term contracts. I'm willing to do both and able to do both, depending on their needs.
Very good. I'm going to say the number very slowly again, because I know that there are people, when this airs on the radio, they might be driving.
Yes.
And okay, so very, very slowly, because I know there's a lot of people, I need Richard, like tomorrow. So you can call him at 772-247-2600. So very good. Excellent. Yes, very happy to help there. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about, the last thing I wanted to talk about with regard to statistics is computer security and the viruses and malware that you hear about. And again, a lot of small businesses are in this comfort zone of, I'm too small, I'm under the radar. No, you're not, okay?
Yes.
According to Kelser Corp, 43% of cyber attacks target small businesses, and of those, 64% have experienced web-based attacks.
Yeah.
This is where you love to totally geek out, as you say it.
That's right.
Because that is so, so important. So talk about computer security, malware, virus. You do it for companies, you do it for individuals.
Yeah, it's so important because so many people don't recognize that's the need or that they're even being affected necessarily right away. So the thing is, you've got you've heard about so many big businesses that have been hacked into the last number of years, but not just big businesses, but it happens with small businesses. You're not going to hear about that on television, but there's so many different small businesses. There's so many different. My mother even happened a while back where somebody called her and was trying to get on her computer, and so they try to fool people into thinking they can get on there. You have to think that just like IT professionals or any other profession, they are working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Well, there's people working 40, 50, or 60 hours a week just to provide. They're sending out spam.
Yeah.
They're trying to hack into everything from small businesses to large businesses to government. They're trying to do that all the time. So it's a constant battle. Even 10 years ago, there wasn't different same security standards as there is now, because now there's a whole selection of different even security certifications through IT that people get specifically for this. It's not something that's going away. We're going to need to continue growing. IT is a field where you have to continue growing in and training, and not just the people that work in the field, but also help educate the consumers, or whether it's consumers, whether it's business people.
And you do that too. You're always keeping on top of all of the credentials that you have, so to speak. So you're always going for continuing education too.
You have to always continue to learn. It's important in this field. I tell people, if you don't want to learn, don't get into this field.
So another thing that I was thinking about also is with regard to connectivity and networking, a small business might start adding employees, and then they have a couple of computers, and now they have client records to maintain, and all of a sudden it's like, I think we might need a server. I think we need to all talk to each other. So you can actually design from the ground up a company's networking system.
Absolutely.
And you also can step in and maintain.
And give cost-effective solutions, too. So what they think they might need, they might not need all of that. They might need something smaller. And so I can give them different options of what they may need. So if they need something with a server and they've been basically on a glorified home network, then it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different for them logging in. So again, it's a training aspect as well of helping them get familiar with that as they move forward.
Okay, well, very good. And voice over IP, you also specialize
voice over
in
IP,
that?
yes, I do. So I deal with several different companies, and then or if they want to look at an outside company, then we look at those and we take a look at what their needs are. Again, the consulting part is very important. So take a look at what the needs are, and then go over figures with them, talk to the different companies. Again, it's talking to some of the different companies without them having to talk to it, and once they know what they need.
That's very nice. So you're actually doing the whole project for them for their telecommunications.
Exactly.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So now, is there anything that I had forgotten to mention that you wanted to say that this is what is done at River IT Consulting?
No, it's just you've hit on a lot of great points, and so there's more, because IT is such a broad field. So if you're hearing this, you're seeing this, feel free to give me a call. Come by and give you a consultation, and don't feel like it's too small. We'll take a look at it, because you may need more than you think you need, or you may think, so nobody's going to deal with that, or they're going to charge me an arm and a leg for it. But I come in with cost-effective solutions to be able to help you, whether it's to one person in their home or the business, or whether it's small to medium-sized businesses. I'm happy to help.
That's a good point, that it's not too small. Yeah. So have people, it's better to just call and get the information from you. So we are almost out of time. Remember, I told you it goes by very fast.
Yes.
So before we sign off, tell everyone how they can connect with you directly.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can. Ellen has given the phone number a couple of times, so it's 772-247-2600.
You can keep, that was just the 1 minute mark.
And on email, it's riveritconsulting@gmail.com or riveritc.com on the web. And I'd be happy to talk with you, be happy to consult with you. And if I can't help you, I'll try to point you in the right direction where you can get help.
Well, very good. So that brings us to the end of another episode of Treasure Coast Connector. And it was my pleasure to have Richard on this show. I hope that we have helped you with your IT issues. My name is Ellen Contreras. Ferris Group is one of our sponsors. They are a business advisory company providing outsourced services for businesses of all kinds. www.ferrisgroup.com, PHARUSgroup.com, or call them 772-223-3344. I hope everyone has a wonderful and productive week.